What's up, guys? I'm Remote Night Allen. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. So today we're going to be taking a look at a way to improve at League of Legends by upgrading your gear. Specifically, that is investing in a RazerNaga mouse. So before we go any further, I just want to state that this video is not sponsored by Razer in any way, shape, or form. All copyrights and all products and what have you belong to them. This is just a personal preference for me, but this is also something that I use that since I started playing in Season 3 has, I believe, helped me improve at League of Legends. And there are multiple ways that I think it's helped me improve, and I think it'll help you improve as well. Now, just to give you a heads up, you don't have to use this mouse. If you use a different mouse or you're happy with your current setup with your gear, that's fine. Again, this is just an opinion, and this is also just a video discussing why I think this could help you improve. Now, the mouse itself does cost about $80, so it can be a bit of a pricey investment, but personally, I think that Razer products are very trustworthy. I use most of them, and I think that the investment is definitely worth it, especially if you want to invest in League of Legends and you plan on playing it for a few years at least. So without any further ado, let's get started. Now, the primary reason for making this video is that the issue that at least I had as a player when I first started playing League was everything, all my abilities, all my item slots, and, everything is bound to the keyboard. So you have your QW and ER abilities, you have DNF for your summoner spells, you have B for recall, G for warning pings and whatnot, but then you have your item slots, which are bound to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, those number keys specifically. So the issue is that if you're using items, wards, which you should be using in this game, obviously, if you're not warding, then you have a lot to learn. The issue is that you have everything bound to just the left hand of the keyboard, and you're only using your right hand, the mouse, for moving and for movement commands to get around the map. So what investing in a RazerNaga mouse helps do is it helps alleviate this idea that everything is bound to the left hand on the keyboard, and it allows the item slots to be shifted over to the right hand so you can keep your left hand locked in place on QW, E, and R, so you don't have to worry about moving them or adjusting to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 in the item slots, and then you can just use your mouse, your thumb, for warding, for item actives, and things like that. So before we go into the thumb buttons, which is the primary solution to the issue we're addressing here, just to show you why the Razer mouse has advantages over other gaming mouses and other regular mouses for League specifically. First of all, mechanically, I've had 2 Razer mouses over the course of 3 years, and the one I've been using for 3 years still works just fine, and I invested in a new one for my current computer. But everything else, the scroll is great, the left and right click is great, but then also a couple other minor features to note. If you look at this little indent on the side that most other mouses don't have, this is for your ring finger to rest on, and it actually helps a lot because it keeps the right side of your hand off of the mouse pad. And then also right next to that, there's a little grip for your pinky to rest on that also keeps that also off of the mouse pad. So with a little minor thing like that, with being able to help keep solid motion control over your mouse on your mouse pad, it's a really nice feature to have. So taking a look at the left side of the mouse where our thumb is going to go, we're going to look at how we're going to solve this problem of having too many things bound to the left hand on the keyboard and how we can solve this problem. So the first thing I want to acknowledge is buttons 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 are not going to be used. This is a great mouse for MMOs and RPGs as well. However, we are only going to be using buttons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now, when we go into our settings, everything is already going to be bound to the key numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 naturally. However, we don't have to change anything because just like on the mouse, the numbers on the keyboard are simultaneously responding to the same numbers on the mouse. So 1 on the keyboard would be 1 on the mouse, 2 keyboard, 2 on the mouse, etc. So we don't have to worry about rebonding anything. So to show you guys what I personally do and how I personally use this to my advantage is, first of all, I always put my thumb right in between the keys of 2 and 5. So Buttons 2 and buttons 5 are primarily where I'll keep item actives on, so primarily if I'm going to place a ward, health pots, Ravenous Hydra, things like that, because those two keys are literally right there on the thumb, and there's also a groove in there that Razer has built in, so you can kind of keep your thumb naturally planted in there. That's what I use to have those items and item actives put in, so that way they are the most easily accessible. Now before I get into like item priorities and what items should go where, buttons 1 and 7 I really don't tend to use, based on the sheer fact that because my thumb is planted in 2 and 5, 3 and 6 are right there, so I'll typically only have a maximum, keyword maximum, of 3 to 4 item actives no matter what role I'm playing, and then, which I'll get to in a second, 4 being the trinket. So 1 and 7 you typically don't really want to use because of how far they are away from your thumb, but the primary keys or buttons that you want to be using are 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, solely based on the fact that you can easily move your thumb to these positions without having to worry about too much of a hassle or developing new muscle memory. Now, like I had mentioned, your trinket is always going to be on button 4. Now, what makes this great is the fact that you can really develop some good muscle memory with having to place just that ward or just that scanner. It allows you to move your thumb down to 4 real quick and then reset it back up to 2 and 5. Personally, this is what I do, and I've had the most success when it comes to utilizing my trinket. Now, when it comes to item prioritization, what I mean is this. You have your thumb planted on buttons 2 and 5 naturally, and then you can just lean up to 3 and 6. And then 4 always being your trinket, but we're not really going to worry about that since I just went over it. 2 and 5, if you have up to 4 active items in your item slots, 2 and 5 are your primary and your easily activatable items. So typically when I'm playing in a game, in early game, let's say I'm playing Talon mid lane, right? So we're going to have health pots and we're going to have wards, right? So my wards are always going to go in 5, and my health pots are always going to go in 2. Now, as the game goes on, I'm going to not buy health pots, but I'm still going to have more item actives. So typically, when it comes to item actives, what you can build on Talon would be Youmuu's Ghostblade, Ravenous Hydra, Mercurial Scimitar, and Edge of Night. Now, when it comes to early game, typically what I do is I'll go for the Youmuu's first, and then I'll go for the Ravenous Hydra, and then the Edge of Night, and then the Mercurial Scimitar by late game. So how that affects where I put items in terms of priority and in terms of their importance is, since I'm rushing the Youmuu's and that active, I will immediately put that on button 2 and then put wards on button 5. Okay? So as the game goes on and I get to my Ravenous Hydra, I'll move Youmuu's over to button 3, because as the game goes on, we're going to be getting Edge of Night and Mercurial Scimitar, which are more important. So we're going to put Ravenous Hydra on 2 because of the immediate active that we have when we get into combat, and then we're going to put Youmuu's on 3 because it's a one-time during combat, and then we don't have to worry about it. Now, when it comes to Edge of Night and Mercurial Scimitar, we're going to be getting Edge of Night first, depending on the situation, but we'll probably be getting that one first. And then we'll have that one go on 6 because that is also a prep for combat, just like Youmuu's. And then Mercurial Scimitar, because that active is to cleanse crowd control, that one is a higher importance and priority than Edge of Night is, so we would put that on 5. So what our item slots would look like is Ravenous on 2 and Mercurial Scimitar on 5, because those are the 2 most important actives we have. And then because it's prep for combat and not in combat, and they are less important actives, we would have Youmuu's on 3 and Edge of Night on 6. Now, I want to re-highlight what the problem is and what this is fixing. So the issue is that we've got our left hand on Q, W, E, and R for our primary abilities, and then we have our items bound to the keys 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc. So instead of having to lift our fingers up to go to, like, say, 4 or 5 off of our ultimate or 3 off of our E, what this is doing is this is allowing for our right hand and our thumb to take over that responsibility of, let's say, items are utility, and then our abilities are like our primary, like our main focus. This allows us to separate those things and be able to execute them a lot faster than we would be able to normally. So just to give another quick example, let's say you're a Lee Sin main listening to this, right? And you just have a regular mouse, there's nothing bound or there's no buttons on your mouse other than your scroll and your left and your right, clicker. So you have your wards bound to key 2, right? So you have to reach your ring finger up to hit 2 to place the ward and then come back down to ward hop. What having this mouse allows you to do is, let's use your trinket for example. You press 4 and then you can simultaneously, keyword simultaneously, hit W while you place the ward to go right there, cutting out up to a half of a second of response time and increasing a better response time so you can react to the enemy or to your ganks. And real quick, the last advantage that this mouse can give you is, let's say you're using a laptop versus a PC, right? So your standard keyboard on a PC is actually angled up and gives you a better angle to reach over to the number keys. And the number keys are also a lot closer together. Now, on a lot of laptops, the keyboard isn't angled at all, and also the keys are flat without any indentations or like grooves that standard PC keys have. So it actually increases the range that your fingers have to reach. So by also having this mouse with a mobile setup with your laptop, it eliminates that reach time that would also give your left hand that you can now put on your right hand, and thus again increasing reaction time and allowing you to simultaneously react to events. Well guys, that's all I have today. Thanks for watching. Again, this video is not sponsored by Razer by any means. This is just a video I wanted to do because of a physical device that actually, in my opinion, helps me improve and has improved my League of Legends gameplay over the years, and I think could definitely benefit you. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see each other again real soon. Have a wonderful day.